Boom, we are live. All right, let me get the Facebook stream up and going. Modify. Let me see it. Server URL. And let me copy this. Hope all of you are having a great day. Yes, okay. Will it let me apply? And let's see if that starts. Come on, come on. Got something special for you today, my dear friend. We're gonna fix you low conversions if you're doing any things like webinars, shit like that, selling to the masses, or maybe you're just selling one-to-one, but you're over teaching. It's something I used to be extremely guilty of. All right, so let me go live for all my Facebook friends. All right, we are live. Let's fucking go. Where's my black expo marker? This is probably one of the things that's killing most of your fucking sales right here. All right. Teaching. You got to have good content. Content is crap. Content causes controversy for most of you. All right? Some of you have content that's so good that it talks people out of sales. It talks people out of sales. That's like me on dates. I communicate so fluently on dates. Most of the time, they leave wet, and I don't even like. I've done the job with my words that I didn't even get physical. How's that for word pictures? All jokes aside, if you don't know who I am, my name is Mason Van Meter. For all you ladies out there, you can call me. All right. So, in all seriousness, teaching is killing most of your conversions on a lot of your sales because you're too focused on the fucking content. All right. Here's what matters more. This is 25%. Say 25% with me. What actually matters? This is 25% of the equation. Jesus Christ, I've drawn on this whiteboard so much these markers are going out. This is just 25%. Okay? I'll teach what the other 75% is here in a minute because that's the most important thing. I am an extremely realistic and what's a good word for it? Analytical person. I can be at least. But I also realize there are invisible factors at play for most things. I used to be one of these people who are like, I'm just going to teach, I'm going to over deliver, and that's what matters. People come here for the content. No. People do everything for one reason and one reason only. Because they feel like it. That's all they want to do. They want to feel like it. If you can be the source of dopamine release for your people, you will quite literally build an addictive, you will become addicting for your audience. If they come and every time they get a +1 in their little rat brain, they see you as either ones or zeros, either pain or pleasure. And so what matters far more than this bullshit, even though it is important, it's the 80%, but the 80-20 rule that applies, which is so funny here because it's inverse, it's paradoxical, it's conflicting in this chart. This is what matters far more. How they feel about the thing that you're teaching them. Why? Because the map is not the territory. You must indoctrinate them with familiarity. All right? Because what's familiar is friendly. It builds rapport. It builds trust. It builds a likeness. It builds symmetry. And that's how our brain works. Back when we were like, Unga bunga, caveman, when we walked past a bush and we saw berries, we're like, source of survival, food. I'll make a note of this in my head to become familiar with bushes like this in the future, or I can come back in my mental map. I don't know how many of you have ever played the game Minecraft. I remember when that first came out, I was probably 11 or 12, and it came out on Xbox, and so I went and downloaded Minecraft, and you had to walk around with this little map, and as you walked around, the map got more details, and you saw where the trees were, you saw where the water sources were, and you remembered it. If any time you needed water for your little water bucket, whatever the hell it is, you knew where to go get water from. All right? So that's all we're trying to do is build familiarity, seed ideas, and become concrete, like, examples into clients' minds. This is why pre-framing is so important. A lot of you treat your audience like they're a clean slate. They're not. They're programmed. They've been indoctrinated to believe certain things. All right, my dear friends, fucking listen, because this is important. If you want to make sales, understand this. Your people are not clean slates. They've been programmed. They believe certain things because of there are certain experiences they've experienced in their life. They've gone through something which made them feel a certain way. They ascribed or slapped the meaning or a label on there and said this is good or bad based on what they believe to be true about the world, based on how they were parented. All right? Based on their upbringing. The brain does not have a critical faculty until you're like 14 years old. You can't really form your own opinions and beliefs until you're 14. And most of them are shit until you're in your 20s. All right? This is very simple. It's very simple. It's not rocket science, but it is brain science. Like, this is the one thing that I didn't... Alex Hormozy put out a video the other day. It was like, people tell you if you grew up, it means this. And it's like, it doesn't mean shit. Something about if you grew up being parented this way, it means you're going to do this. And it's like, that doesn't mean shit. Actually, it does. It's the one thing he's gotten fucking wrong. 90% of our thoughts come from other people, my dear friend. All right? 90% of our thoughts come from other people. It's what build the filters in our brain on how we process information based on experiences, emotions, time, space, matter. And we delete, generalize, and distort 100% of that fucking information. And so if you grew up being told that something is bad, like selling is bad. Selling is bad. Don't trust strangers. Don't talk to strangers. Like, selling is bad. Salespeople are evil. Salespeople are degenerate. Like, money is the root of all evil. By all means, then, Gertrude, stay fucking poor. Stay poor and enjoy not having enough. Please tell me how noble you are for not having enough, for not being able to do anything fun, for not being able to go on vacation. That's such a good life. Wow. How highly righteous and blessed and favored you are for having lack, for being poor, for living a life of scarcity. How nice of you to save some for the rest of us. Stupid. I think it's disingenuous to be poor. All right? How's that for a pattern interrupt? But here's the thing. If I'm teaching sales training, if someone grew up their whole life hearing salespeople are evil, no matter how good the fucking content is, they don't want to use it because how they feel about it. They don't. They don't. You are never going to want to be good at something that you perceive as bad, because that would make you a bad person by definition on your worldview, your impoverished model of fucking reality. All right, my dear friend. Get this through your skull. Get this through that thick-ass cranium. It's what took me so long to realize. 25% of what matters in any of your presentation shit is the content. The content. Okay? And yes, it's important. It's the most time-consuming part. But 75% of the success that's going to come from that is how they feel about the stuff that you're teaching. So if you can frame things in a certain way to break false beliefs of their impoverished model of reality, of this woe is me mentality, Nothing's going to change for them, no matter how good the fucking content is. And a lot of you teach good stuff, but they feel like shit by applying it. If I was to believe that salespeople are bad, if I was to still believe that shit that I heard growing up, no matter how much stuff I learned from Jordan Belfort and Grant Cardone and all these people and I don't know. I've learned from so many different people. So I understand this. If I would still have believed that salespeople are evil, no matter how good the content is, no matter how persuading or effective it was in using it in actual sales, because I believe that salespeople are evil, I'm never going to want to apply things or get good at things that would make me that person in my self-image. Okay? Understand this. When you start optimizing for making them feel good and increasing the familiarity aspects of your content, the more useful, the more advantageous it will be for your audience. You will actually serve them at a higher degree by telling the stories that break their chains of false belief, that break their impoverished model of reality. Because their model of reality is keeping them poor. We know that. We know that. What's so funny about this is here's what happens when you don't fucking listen to me, okay? Here's what happens. I went to dinner with some friends, not dinner, lunch. I took a group of my buddies out and they brought their buddies. And we went to a steakhouse last night, which was absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't been to Perry's Steakhouse in Austin, Texas, it's awesome. I will say their ribeyes are fucking buttery, and like I thought about taking a nap on the way home. I don't know how. I guess I was just going to autopilot with the steering wheel, but that's besides the point. I got into this little verbal, you could call it a scrap, with one of my friends, and like I said something, and they took it the complete wrong way because of their beliefs. Here, like that's what's going to happen. They're going to feel like they're being disrespected a lot of times when you start teaching things or when you start introducing new concepts, because people are not clean slates. They've been programmed. They've been indoctrinated to believe certain things, that it's not good or bad. It's just what you're saying is conflicting with their beliefs. And so they are going to take it as a personal attack rather than you saying, hey, the information that you've been given might not be effective. It's probably why you're getting the results you're getting. Okay? And so you're going to cast your pearls before swine, and you're going to wonder why they turn and bite you. It's like, I encourage you all to give up the notion to be fucking right. Do you want to be right or do you want to be rich? I'd rather be wrong and have the life that I live, where I'm able to go do whatever the fuck I want on a Tuesday at 9 a.m. Or like I'm able to go to zoos, drive through zoos at Tuesday when there's no lines, when all the like people are working, when the masses are working. I'm able to do nice things for friends. I'm able to buy gifts for friends. Okay? I'm able to live a life of abundance and freedom. If you keep listening to these fucking lead vendors and other people, like they're anti-freedom. They're anti-freedom. They're fucking Nazis. All right? So understand this, please. It matters more. It matters far more about how they feel about what you're telling them and presenting to them than the actual content. Now, here's the problem with this: is a lot of people, they could take advantage of people with this. There's obvious exploits. As with anything, for every major positive, there must be a major negative. There always has to be a flip side of the coin, a polar opposite. For every positive, there must be a negative. Which, for all you fucking negative Nancys out there who's like, this is such a bad day, you're ignoring all the beautiful shit that's happening around you by choosing to focus on what's happening to you. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. It's stupid. You're wasting your fucking life. You're wasting your life. And that was funny. Is like that's kind of what we got into a little, we'll just call it a disagreement about. And there's nothing good or bad about this. Like, I really like this dude that I had this little debate with. It's like, I want to change the world. It's like, I just want to change people's lives who want their lives to be changed. Here's the thing: when a ship capsizes in like the Navy or a certain branch of the military, let's say this fucking marker. Here's the water. Here's the ship. All the people are just sitting here floating in the water. Say, help me, I'm drowning. Here's a helicopter coming. Here's the funny thing about the helicopter. The logical thing to do is to go to where the people are drowning. They should come over here and drop the line, but you know what they do? They go about 100 yards away and then they drop the line. That way you have to swim to them if you want to be saved. If not, like, you can drown. I'm just keeping it real. Some people may, like, well, that, how fucking dare they? Like, I know, how, you're holier than thou. Like, it, right or wrong, it's just what is, okay? And so rather than me trying to save everybody, like, you're not going to be Captain Save-A-Ho. You're not. People don't want to be saved. They want to feel inspired to rise up to their own challenges. For most people, whether they know it or not, whether they want to admit it, that's just how the brain works. We want progression. We want significance. Most, like, even the people who say they do want to be saved, really, they're just looking for an excuse to let their weirdness shine. Because most of them are just too uncomfortable in their own fucking skin for some reason. Because they're too busy keeping up with the Jones family, and they wonder why they're fucking broke. Because they buy shit that doesn't matter to them to impress people they don't really give a fuck about in the first place. Because that's how our world is. We're perceptually driven creatures. We're socially dominated. All right? We're socially dominated. We want to fit in with the clans. In our tribe. We want to feel like we belong to something, ultimately. We want a sense of significance. And I know one of you are going to have that lone wolf mentality like I did when I was 18. It's like, oh, fuck people. I can go through life on my own. By all means, Captain Dipshit, let me know how that fucking goes. All right? Stay poor. Lone wolf. You're the alpha. All right? Yeah, let me know how that goes. When you have 50 enemies, you know the remedy to that? One good friend. One good friend. This life is not meant to go through alone. It's meant to share experiences. While I like having like something as simple as lunch with my friends, because I get to share laughter and ideas and beautiful memories with people that I care about, that people that I'd risk my life to protect. That's what life's about. At least it is for me. Having beautiful experiences and becoming the best version of you. And that requires being selfish. That requires optimizing the life to put your oxygen mask on before you put it on your fucking neighbor. The plane's going down. If you can't breathe, how the fuck are you going to help anybody else? That's why I love it when poor people say, it must be nice, and tell you how to use your fucking money. Stupid. They're idiots. They're idiots. They're responsible for their own problems. Whether people want to agree with that or not. Maybe that's a shitty personal opinion, but I believe most of you, even if you took things that really did happen to you, maybe they did. Maybe you're in a shitty life situation right now. Someone got in a hit and run and they backed into your car and you don't have enough money and it's not worth it to file an insurance claim because you know your deductible and all that shit's going to go up and it's just not worth it. But you don't have the money to fix it. Sometimes things do happen like that. Make it your fault anyways. Because now at least you're at cause. At least you can do something about it. At least you can do something about it. But trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho and Mr. Alpha and Mr. fucking Badass like I used to be, it's a recipe for fucking disaster. All right? It's a recipe for disaster. You can't fucking live in the past. You just can't. So it matters far more about how people feel about what you're talking about, what you're presenting, than the actual shit you're presenting. You could go up there and talk about why you should put dog poo in a fucking garden. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. Truly. It matters far more about how they feel about it, how familiar they are. And so if you can fractionate your audience into hearing something multiple times, they begin to believe it's true. Why? Because what's repeated is retained. And what's retained is familiar. And that's what we latch onto. What's familiar. What we think we know. Okay? That's why propaganda is so effective. That's why these motherfuckers on the news channel, no matter how hot the Latina is that they hire to do the weather, like, it's just not fucking worth watching. Because they're just going to feed you a bunch of bullshit. Here's an easy way to watch the news. Whatever they're talking about, apply the opposite and assume that's true. That's why some of you are going through life right now, engaging with stupid shit like a fucking debate. Where some doo-doo gets up there and says, got hairy legs, I like when the poor black kids sit on my lap. So what? That's what you think is important. The debate. Two sides of the same coin. Completely staged bullshit. It's fucking stupid. You want to know what happens when someone gets elected? Those votes, your vote does not matter. Your vote does not matter. When someone gets elected, the motherfuckers in black suits and ties come in there with their gay ass briefcases and say, here's what's really going down. They probably mention something about aliens and say, okay, here's the game plan, Mr. President. You're gonna follow this or we're gonna off you. You understand? That's what really happens. It's puppetry. It's puppetry. You motherfuckers walk around believing your vote actually has any significance. And you waste your life, dear God. Please tell me the last thing that Joe Byron has done that has actually affected your fucking life. Have you not seen inflation, Mason? Make more money. Make more money. Make it your fault. Make it your fault you don't make enough money. Make it your fault you haven't made yourself valuable enough. Stop walking around blaming all your goddamn problems on someone who doesn't fucking matter. I could care less if that dude choked on a dick and died. The dude's a bitch. Like, let's just be real. A lot of you are focused on stupid shit. You wonder why you have the problems that you fucking do. I know, I'm being a dickhead right now. Go listen to someone who mentally masturbates you and finger blasts you in your little fucking prison pockets. A lot of you are just fucking soft. You want to make a real difference? Be fucking you. Be yourself. It's okay. I understand a lot of people probably won't like the things I just said. I encourage you not to. Because for every person I please, I'm going to piss off one. Understand that. There's a cost to being great. There's a polar opposite for everything you do. For every person you help, there's going to be someone you hinder. Get the fuck over it. There has to be an equal and opposite exchange. If you think you're going to get through life without some pain, you're sadly you're fucking kidding yourself. You're kidding yourself. There's no getting through this life without pain, my friend. There's not. There's not. I'm not saying go intentionally hurt people, but just understand it's going to be a byproduct of some of the things you do. Like if an atheist saw you going to church, you think they're fucking happy? How dare he believe in God? It's like when I make jokes about Catholics. Yeah, y'all's priests do some weird fucked up shit to little boys. Let's be real. They got some weird shit going on in your little cult. They're all cults. They're all isms. Whether we like it or not. You got people walking around talking about Michael Todd, Pastor Michael Todd. The dude's impacted millions of lives, millions more than you ever will. Talk to me about that bullshit. Not all good men are great men. Understand. There's always a price to pay. And people who want to do great things in their eyes are going to fucking do it. Whether you like it or not, behind every behavior is mostly positive intention for that person. At least they believe it to be. I know it's a hard concept for most of you to grasp, but can we agree that not everybody we like is right about everything, and not everybody we dislike is wrong about everything just because we dislike them? Blows my mind. So, yeah, it matters far more about how people feel about what you're talking about than the things you're actually even talking about. This has probably been a truth bomb for most of you because you're going through life blaming everybody and anything other than your fucking self. And if you're in the entrepreneurial world, that's just not going to work. That's not going to work. You're not going to get through this game without your blood sacrifice, so to speak. All right, to paint some word pictures of what you're going to have to fucking go through. You're just not. You're just not. If you think you're going to escape it, like, find a job. Find a job. It's the price of being great. It's the price of being great. So